Hello, hello, hello. I am TD Love. Welcome. How are you? Welcome to all my new subscribers. I appreciate all of you, old, new, as long as you stay true. What it do? Listen here. It's time for yet another uncomfortable discussion. Right. Tonight, I would like to address our young men. Our young men are victims as well. See, when we think predator and sexual molestation and rape, you assume that it's only men who do that. I am here to tell you that women are predators too. Absolutely. Now, so what I did was I spoke to a few of my male friends and I'm like, have you ever been sexually assaulted? What's really good? And that's another thing. When you meet people, that is an important question that needs to be asked. You need to ask your male partners and you need to ask your female partners. Have you been sexually assaulted? Have you been abused? You know what I'm saying? Because it does change you as a person. It does have an effect on you. Not saying that you can't date the person or anything like that, but it's just something that you need to know because a person may have clicks and ticks about them. And you're like, what the hell is really good? That may be it, Anyway, women molest, women abuse, and women rape. Okay. So our young boys are victims oftentimes. So ladies, you need to be careful who you're allowing to watch your children. Stop leaving your kids with people, with other family members. Because when I spoke with my young friends, some my age, some a little younger, my male friends, I was saddened, but I wasn't surprised. So first of all, one of my friends told me that when he was 8 years old, a girl was babysitting him and she put her puss on his lips. 8 years old. Now, some of you may think that, ain't nothing wrong with that. He's a little boy. See, that's the problem with our community. Sex is pushed on to young boys at an early age. They think shit like that is normal. Like you often hear, like if a 13-year-old 21-year-old has sex with him, it's like, oh, lucky him. No, it's not, because mentally he's been fucking scarred. You don't even know if he wanted to have that sex or not. Another one of my friends told me that when he was like 12 years old, there was a woman in the neighborhood that was like 22. And she was having sex with him like every day. He didn't know. He didn't want to. One day she came to his house and he didn't go outside. And she was like, if you don't do it, I'm going to tell your mother. Him not knowing that you should have let that bitch told your mom so your mother could have killed her like she should have, But he didn't know that because, again, in our community, what's wrong with you? It's embarrassing. It's shameful. Sexual abuse is painful. And so we have young men who are considered sissies as little boys, right? So you have women who want to, I can turn you into a man, or I can take that sissy out of you, and then they do sexual acts on these young men. Or you have, other little boys in the neighborhood who don't like gay boys and who got a problem with gay boys, but yet they chase them down and make them do sexual acts on them. Or they do sexual acts to them, because oftentimes when, men assault other men and they don't see it as rape, you hear men say shit like, oh, I'll fuck you in the ass. Like, when they get in arguments and stuff like that. If you listen, like I've heard some questionable lyrics on rap, some rap songs. And I'm like, really? Okay, you're taking this shit a little too far. See, y'all know I'm a person. I'm about words. Words matter to me. And they really need to start mattering to you too. You have to listen to people and understand and hear them. You know what I'm saying? Because people say a lot of things without directly saying them. If you're listening, you will hear them. But again, sexual assault is real and it happens to young men and they're shamed. Just like the Catholic Church scandal. I was watching something on Netflix. And it was a nun, a young nun. She ended up being murdered because she wasn't with the bullshit that they were on. However, these priests were moved around from monastery to monastery. And these parents sent their children away and never asked them, were they okay? It was just, it's these people are betrayed on both sides. You see what I'm saying? A lot of women A lot of children are still being molested today because their mothers were molested and they didn't get help. They can see the signs in their face, but because it happened to them, they're like, I don't know if they look away or they don't get that this shit is wrong. But that's how it goes down. Because oftentimes you'll find that it's a repeat cycle. It's a repeat process. So our young men are overlooked. And it is an issue. I saw a story a long time ago about a football player. He was on Oprah. And his mother married this man, and the mother worked overnights. And every night that man stuck his penis in that little boy. From the time he was 9 to about 14 or so. And you're like, oh, when he's 14, he should have known better. See, y'all don't understand the intensity of sexual abuse, of predators. It's usually an ongoing cycle. Even R. Kelly said his sister had molested him and done things to him. Right. So you wonder why a lot of times these young men are so violent and they're on lean and they're on all kind of other shit because they've gone through things, but they don't have a space to discuss it. It is important that you ask your children. You know, I ask my kids, I don't give a fuck every day, whenever it come up, you know, and they're not, even if it's happened, they're not necessarily going to tell you, but you got to let them know that it's okay to tell me this. If something happens, please let me know. You know, because it's not only women who go through it. It's not only little girls. It's boys as well. It's men as well. Men are raped too. And think about it. If women are not willing to speak up about rape, what do you think a man's going to say? You know, they're never going to say, oh my God, I was sexually assaulted. Oh my God, this happened to me. Never. It's shameful. And we have to really open our eyes to what's going on around us because other children are molesting and raping. And like, if you know your kid got a fucking problem, don't let your kid go around other people's children. Period. Keep your fucking kid at home. I'm talking to you. I'm sure somebody right here listening to me right now, I'm talking to you. If you know that your child has a problem, you keep your fucking kid at home and you keep your kid away from other children. And you need to notify the school because you don't want nothing to happen to nobody's child at school because you're responsible. You know something off with your child and you don't address that shit and you just let him go on out into society, he or she, because they're little girl predators too. Don't make no fucking mistake. Because another male I spoke to, when he was little, a girl used to give him oral sex all the time and he was like 6, 7, 8 years old. And why would an older little girl want to do that to you? You know, because she wasn't grown. What is she, 10? Sickness. We have to open our eyes. We are really playing a dangerous game. It is time that we cut this fucking head off the snake. Okay? Right. We need to have these discussions. I hope that y'all are hearing me. Like, this is real shit. We're going to talk about real shit over here. This is that real shit. You know, as a young man, if you've been touched and abused, get help. Stop hiding. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't be ashamed of who you are or what happened to you. You didn't ask for that. And I don't care what circumstance it went down under. You didn't ask for that. Even if you're gay, you didn't ask for that. Just because you're gay doesn't mean that you want to have sex with every and any man. So that doesn't give them the right. Yes, you were raped too. Ladies, if you're having sex with a man and he takes the condom off and you don't know, you were raped too. Right? There are many ways to be violated. You know, you think about it, little boys, like people giving you a wedgie until your underwear ripped. Does that seem appropriate or normal to you? That's fucking abuse. But shit like that is funny. Yeah, somebody sticking their finger in your asshole. That's fucking funny. This is how we play. What? Sick. So that's why things matter to me. Every fucking thing matters to me. If I annoy you and agitate you and make you angry, join the motherfucking club. Okay. Because I argue with my people every day. I just got off the phone arguing with somebody. And it don't be like, fuck you, bitch. But it's like we go back and forth and it is what it is. Fuck that. Yeah, I like to talk to people who don't agree with me. They're my favorite people to talk to. Okay? Because they might make me see something a little and I might shine a light for them too. You know what I mean? Like we can meet in the middle. We can come to some kind of understanding. And then there are some motherfuckers you never going to agree with about anything, period. Just because they don't want to. And I'm cool with that too. I just don't talk to your ass. But yeah, if I upset you, good. I love you too. Okay. So I just wanted to say this too. And we're going to triple the numbers for the men. But I'm going to read it as like it's for the women, but it's for the women, but I'm going to triple the number for men because men don't tell. Boys don't tell. And they're assaulted on the rag. We're not going to act like it doesn't happen. There's too many other sexual assaults going on for it not to be happening to young men too. So, for every black woman who reports rape, at least 15 black women do not report. I would say 35. That's for women, so I'm going to say 70 men. So for every one man that reports, 70 men don't. 1 in 4 black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. And that stands for men as well, because like I said, a lot of these young men and grown men that I've spoken to were molested as little boys by fucking babysitters and neighbors and their mother's friends. Yeah, watch them bitches too who think your son is cute. Keep your fucking sons away from them type of whores. I don't play that shit. I don't mess with no, you're a child. I look at younglings as younglings. That's what they are. Cause I had a friend too. She's like, oh, my son like you, bitch. So? We friends. Why would I look like getting naked with your fucking son? Are you crazy? We bitches are crazy. But that lets me know you would get naked with my motherfucking son, bitch. So no, stay away from mine. And you got to keep people away from you. You have to listen to what people are saying. I'm telling y'all. The writing be right on the wall and y'all just be ignoring shit. Oh, they didn't mean it like that. Yes, the fuck they did. And even if they didn't, that's how you better take it, because you always need to be on a level 10. Okay. Also, 35% of black women experience some form of contact sexual violence during their lifetime. Okay? 40 to 60% of black women report being subjected to coercive sexual contact by the age of 18. Right. Okay? Men as well. Young black boys as well. Young men as well. I'm not just going to say black overall, because I worked with a lady one time and she told me that her brother, he was a heroin addict. And she said, and we was talking one day and I was like, yeah, you know, because everybody who's a drug addict, because they was kind of writing him off. And I said, well, do you know why he's a drug addict? Like, there's a reason. He's not just like that for no reason. Maybe he's trying to numb some pain or something. And she was like, you know, you're right. She said when he was little, he used to have there used to be bloody tissue around all the time. And she said that what they found out later when he got older is that the neighbor next door had been molesting him the whole time. Right. And you would think he would say, I'm not going back over there, but that's not always the response from little children. That's why you're responsible for your child and you can't put them in those situations. And a lot of times when they do get molested, like if it's your fucking boyfriend or some shit like that, yes, you are responsible. It is your fault. And you do owe your kid an apology. Absolutely. So also, 17% of black women experience sexual violence other than rape by an intimate partner during their lifetime. And a lot of you are under the impression that your partner can't rape you. Some of you men feel like, you know, that's your woman, that's your pussy. It is not. No is no to your ass too. So like, this whole situation with Common and Jaguar, right? And like when she woke up and he had his dick in her face, inappropriate. Because fellas, if you wake up and your homeboy got his dick in your face, I'm sure you won't appreciate it. So for all of you who was like, oh, well, you know, she was dating him. They was hanging out together and they went to bed. And then, yeah. So, okay, you out with your homeboy. You wake up and he got his dick in your face. You ain't gonna have no problem with that. I think you will. Also, more than 20% of black women are raped during their lifetimes, a higher share than among women overall. So throughout the world, black women. Because you got to also take into account what goes on with the women in Africa. Right. Lots of violence, sexual violence. India. We all black women, right? We all Black Lives Matter, right? Right. Women do not have rights all over the world. So for us to sit back and say, it's okay, fuck that. You know, we're going to liberate ourselves through pussy. We're not. That's not what we're going to do. We need to really empower our motherfucking selves and take over the world. That's what we need to do. Real shit. Take over the world. We can sling pussy anytime. We got that. We got that under control, right? Right. Because, we've been told bullshit by men. And women believe this. Women ride for this. Black women were 2.5 more times more likely to be murdered by men than their white counterparts. And more than 9 in 10 Black female victims know their killers. And we all know that to be true as well, right? Why are these Black men killing? They keep saying it's because of the Black mother, but it's deeper than that. What's really going on? Where's this anger and hate coming from? So quick to want to snatch a life. Right. And again, like I said, a lot of these women are allowing shit to happen to their kids and turning their backs. It will breed hate. You will want to kill. You will give no fucks. It's a lot going on. Black women also experience significantly higher rates of psychological abuse, including humiliation, insults, name calling, and coercive control than do other women overall. And I would agree with that, because even here on these YouTube streets, when I read this, it stuck out to me. It's like humiliation, insults, name calling, and coercive control. That's a very, very, very prevalent characteristic here on the street. And a lot of women give that. Women are given this right here. A lot of women, humiliation, insults, name calling, coercive control. Yes, a lot of the women and a lot of the bitch niggas. I'm going to tell y'all something with the name calling men. It says a lot about you. It says a lot about where you came from. I heard somebody say my mother and my grandmother told me as a young man, let me tell you something. You needed a male role model in your life, because your mother and grandmother told you to fight a bitch, slap a bitch, kick a bitch. They told you wrong, bruh. What they should have told you was you don't fuck with people who make you feel that way. You go the other direction. That's the advice that I give everybody all the time. You are responsible for yourself, your words, and your motherfucking actions. I don't want to hear shit about what nobody else did. I want to talk about what the fuck you did and what you said, okay? So, the end of the day, the responsibility falls back on you. So, when I hear men on here saying all this, fuck you, bitch, and I'm going to do all of this, and I'm going to do all that, well, it says more about you as a man. It says that you're not a man. You're degrading yourself. You're playing yourself. You're coming across as a sensitive ass bitch. I can't stand that emotional man bullshit. I just had a discussion with one of my homies, and when I told you I was just arguing with that emotional shit. You've been talking to me forever, and every time I say something to you, you want to get in your motherfucking feelings. I don't want to hear that shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me then, because you know who I am. I'm just talking to you, but I speak in a tone. And I'm aggressive. It is what it is. But you know that about me. So what the fuck's the problem? But you want to be in your feelings. Too many dudes in their fucking feelings. Get out your motherfucking feelings. Stop being emotional. That shit is for little girls. Grown ass women shouldn't be that emotional. You letting a bitch affect you on that level? It's disturbing. This is what I'm saying. It goes back to childhood. All these behaviors go back to childhood. Humiliation, insults, name calling, and coercive control. That is in our community ongoing. Humiliation is the name of the game around these motherfucking streets, ain't it? Name calling. That's all people do. Insult one another. That's it. Control. Try to control people, where they can go and who they can talk to. A lot of these people are victims of what? Sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, child abuse. So be careful who you're riding with. I keep telling y'all. It's not their fault, but they got fucking issues that they're not addressing. And they're leading you around and they're taking you down with them because they got fucking problems that are not being addressed. The problems are so obvious out here. I mean, obvious. But that really stuck out to me because I'm like, wow, this is what you always hear. Now, I want y'all to stop. It's crazy that people don't believe that rape is real. When you have date rape, slavery was in play. That was nothing but rape. Catholic Church scandal, the Penn State scandal. You got Jeff Epstein. And Jeff Epstein and that woman he was sleeping with. Did y'all read the disgusting shit about her too? She was sleeping with and molesting young women while he watched and shit too. Grooming young girls. If that bitch needs to get what she got coming to. The 3 Ohio girls that were held captive. You got sex trafficking. You got women and babies being found raped and murdered. You know what I'm saying? You got little black boys being touched on, and little boys in general. I'm sorry, but why is it so hard to acknowledge rape? I want to say this too. One time I went, I was going to Bible study like on Wednesday night. It wasn't really Bible study. They were talking about relationships at the church. So this lady invited me. I went or whatever. But the pastor said some shit that always stuck out in my head. And he, he said that he used to be bisexual. He said that he's not anymore. He had a wife. And I believed him because that's a choice you can make as well if that's what you want to do, right? So he said, what happened to him as a little boy? He said, let me tell you ladies something. He said, do not allow people to be touching on your 12 and 14-year-old sons. He goes, that goes for anybody. He said, because that's a sensitive time for them. He said, but people take advantage of that. And that's what happened to me. He was like, because they want to, oh, you my homeboy and, touching on you inappropriately. And the same thing, like I said, with women, it happens for both sexes. But I never, you don't really think about how you got to really, really protect your kids. I'm a hands-off type of person anyway. I don't play that shit, but everybody is not. I know people who will let people pick their kids up like, oh, we going to get ice cream. I'm going to buy them some sneakers. Yeah, what's going to happen in the fucking process of that, though? Sexual abuse is real, and we really need to pay attention, So, yes, I'm passionate about some other things because the realities of what's going on with our children is deep, it's sad, it's disturbing. Our teenagers, our young adults, a lot of them are in the struggle. And now, we're really in a hard time. But just think about it. You're not hearing all the stories of all the young ladies that have been murdered recently. I follow the news and I be on all kind of sites and looking at stuff. But the numbers are on the rise. They're not reporting it, of course, but the numbers are on the rise. Young women being murdered by these young men. And these are our children, because I see all children as my children. So our children, this is what they're doing. And we need to ask ourselves why or when are we going to cut this shit off and stop the cycle? We can cut it right here because people need to start staying home with their children and stop. Well, now there ain't no clubs, but y'all want to have house parties. Y'all want to invite everybody over, bring your kids over. You can't do that. You can't do that. You want to take your kids to other people's house to the barbecue. You in there drinking and y'all. No, don't do that to your children. Leave them at home. Don't do it. It's dangerous out there. It's dangerous. But I just wanted to talk about this tonight because we don't talk about it. And young men are victims. Men are victims too. And they don't have a voice, period. They don't. There's no male rape group. And men are violated. Men, young boys, violated. By other boys who think it's funny to just touch your penis because they feel like it. That type of shit. Slap you on your ass because they feel like it. Touching people's off fucking limits. You're not supposed to do that. Just think about it. I just wanted to put this out there in your head. So think about it. Think back over your life. Think about your male friends and think about what went down. It's hard. Those memories are painful, but they're out there. Everybody knows somebody, even though people pretend they don't. So I'm glad that I could bring you this thoughtful message tonight. I hope that I'm sparking some feelings. I'm hoping that somebody who's going through something can release this tonight. Pray on it and let it go. It's not your fault. Pray for peace. If you pray every day to let something go away that's troubling you, you pray to God to remove this from my heart, my soul, my mind, my spirit, it will go away. I promise you. One day you'll just be like, oh shit, I ain't thought about it. Pray on it, okay? I promise you. Deuces.